Hey Foogsters! Today we're keeping it cheap and easy again with some delicious spring rolls. Something that you can put basically anything in and it takes a matter of minutes to throw together. So stick around. So we've just got a couple key vegetables here that we're going to throw in. We're keeping this really easy. You can put absolutely anything in this that you want. Any kind of vegetables, meats, fruit I would stay away from.
No, I've had some good spring rolls with like mangoes.
Mango? Lemon could be good too.
Lemon?
As a matter of fact.
Lime is a fruit still?
It is a fruit. But we're just keeping it to these three ingredients. Mushrooms for a little bit of meatiness, carrots for, a little bit of sweetness as a matter of fact, and then kind of some filler cabbage. But anything you dip in this like crazy dipping sauce, doesn't matter. It's the combination between all these things and then the wrapper. It's just a great little snack to have.
And somehow, no matter what you put in the middle, like it doesn't really matter. Whether we've done like kale before, and if you season it a little bit and then it, bakes for a while and gets all soft, and then you dip it in that sauce, you could be eating anything. It doesn't matter at that point. So it's a great way to like sneak some extra veggies into your diet. Yep. It is like cold and flu season, so it's a good time to stock up on some veggies.
So we have a new toy in the kitchen. Angela has a new food processor that she just got for Christmas. So yeah. We no longer have to chop everything by hand, which you can also do if you don't have any food processor or blender of any kind. You can just chop these by hand. It doesn't matter what size the stuff is going into the spring rolls. In fact, most people like a little bit like chunkier stuff or like
I wouldn't do giant spears. I would say, we typically would grate the carrots on just a regular cheese grater. The cabbage we would just kind of chop by hand and get it, in thin slices. And then the mushrooms, again, just kind of chop up. We've been making egg rolls and spring rolls. Well, I have since I was in 6th grade. So it's about 16 years of not having a food processor. It's totally easy. It doesn't take that long. But I gotta put a plug in. I've never had a food processor before. I've never really used one until this past week. They are incredible. You just shove stuff in there and it's just like pew, 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 and then all your stuff is done.
It was that fast, yeah.
So get ready, because you're about to see on camera, we're gonna cut it down a little bit because you can't just shove a whole cabbage in there. But we're gonna cut it up a little bit and then you're gonna see it's just gonna start spinning. Everything's gonna get really nicely diced up, and then we're gonna just mix it all together and mix in our spices, and then we can start stuffing the spring rolls. Right. So it's that quick and easy. And presto! 15 hours of chopping is done in 3 minutes. So now if you want to toss in the spices I mixed together, it's just some garlic powder, some onion powder, some salt, and some pepper. Keep it pretty easy, but unlike buying Italian sausage or something that you might put in them, none of the vegetables come pre-seasoned, so you do want to make sure you season your vegetables.
Right, that's half the cooking right there. Fresh herbs also work very nicely. You put some cilantro in there if you're one of those people.
If you don't think it tastes like soap,
Parsley's okay too. Who didn't chop this piece of
I was hoping you wouldn't see it. All right, so now we have our nice mixture. Okay, Brett, so I know you are a little burrito wrapping challenged. So let's...
I'm not good at this in any way.
So let's walk through this. I believe...
I have the biggest egg rolls. These
are
extra
we
jumbo.
Bought the spring rolls as big as your head. Turns out, we tried this last night. Do not stuff them completely full. Put a normal amount of stuffing in them, and then you just get extra wrapping. Right. You stuff them completely full, it's a disaster.
If the stuffing outweighs the wrapper, they will just explode in the oven.
Yeah.
So.
We tried it, so you don't have to. We usually get the smaller ones. They're, like that big instead. You can find these at any Asian mart, or if your grocery store has an international food section, and they're not very expensive. Now, we always get the rice paper because I can't do the wonton wrappers, but most grocery stores will also have a section where you can get the wonton wrappers that are made out of wheat and egg, and that is the more traditional egg roll wrapper if you want to go in that direction. We make spring rolls because we use rice paper. I think that's the biggest difference.
Typically, if you order it in a restaurant, the one that seems more fried and crispy and crunchy, that's typically the one that is the egg roll wrapper. This one is going to be more transparent. Or translucent when it comes to the table, and we're baking ours. So you don't have to fry it at all.
A lot of times in restaurants, they don't actually bake them. That's why they're spring rolls. It's all just very fresh food, maybe a little bit of shrimp tossed in there, and then the wrapper just gets like kind of soft and squishy. So you do not have to bake these. We do just because we're going for more of that like egg roll crunch.
You just like roll them in a bowl of water like 5 or 6 times until
they start, because they start out very stiff.
Yeah, they're like plastic.
And you're just gonna kind of rotate it in a bowl of water.
You want it all to get wet.
You want it all to get wet. It's totally okay if your hands get a little bit wet. And then you'll see that it becomes, the more we let it sit here, the more it just becomes very, very soft and easy to work with.
And now it's a little slimy.
It's a little slimy.
So
and then
right. Okay.
There's stages. So like right now it feels slimy. And then by the time we stuff it and we get ready to rock and roll, it'll be like completely slimy and like very soft and malleable. And if it's not, then you just put a little bit more water on it and give it a little bit more time.
And it is very likely to stick to itself at this point, right?
Yours
Mine is.
Yours is.
Mine's getting real sticky.
Yeah. Okay, so you're just gonna go ahead and put about 2 spoonfuls. Okay, that's like, or so one of that giant. Okay.
So just one.
Yep.
What is this, like 2 tablespoons, 2.5 tablespoons?
And you're going to want to put it closer to you, not in the middle.
Excellent instructions.
Yes, perfect. Yes, there you go.
I do that.
And then you're going to kind of form it into a little log with your hands.
I don't want to go all the way to the sides.
You don't want to go all the way to the sides. You want to kind of keep it pinched. You want it to be a nice, taut rectangle.
All right, so I want an egg roll size.
Yes. Whatever size you want your egg roll to be is what you're shooting to do right now.
Okay.
Okay, let me catch up.
Keep mine like a little bit skinny, longer and skinnier. All right, and then...
Okay, hold on.
For the burrito challenge, I'm in a hurry. Thank you.
Excuse me, I ordered my spring roll takeout 10 minutes ago.
This slime paper is not going to roll itself over here.
Okay, so then you're going to pick up the edge very carefully because now you can see it's getting very fragile.
Yep.
And you're going to put it over the top. And then you're going to do one first roll. Okay? Just completely roll it over on itself and kind of, make sure it's nice and tight. Squeeze it a little bit together. Okay, perfect. Yeah, and then this is squeeze a little.
By perfect, she means like, okay.
And then you're going to take one edge and you're just going to fold it over.
All right, straight.
Yep.
All the way across.
And then you're going to take the other one.
And I want to keep this like real tight.
And you're going to do the same thing.
Keep it kind of loose.
You can keep it a little loose.
We'll see if mine explodes.
I guess decent amount of tension. So think about when you're crocheting.
Yeah.
You let the needle do the work. Yeah, so let the wrapper do the work.
Just like crocheting.
And now you just roll nice and easy. Nice and easy. That's all there is to it. And then we're just going to go ahead and put it on our pan.
This actually looks pretty reasonable.
Yeah, you did great. I know I'm just using a normal bowl to roll these in. Some people have the awesome cylindrical spring roll rollers. I don't have one, so
neither does most everybody
don't
else,
judge me. You know
especially
what?
If you've
Several of our friends do.
Well, they're probably not watching this video to learn how to make these either. So for everybody else who's a normal person who doesn't make spring rolls on a regular basis, this bowl trick works great.
But we do make spring rolls on a regular basis. We're still using this. And you know what? If you do make spring rolls, or even better, if you have one of those awesome things that I'm talking about, comment down below to prove Brett wrong. I'd be so happy.
I'd be very curious to know how many people have that.
So they are all beautifully rolled. You'll see that they are varying in size, which is just because
the way it is. I mean,
nothing's perfect in life. So we've oiled these in the past and we've not oiled them in the past, and we haven't noticed a huge difference, but we've never done it like at the same time. So we're gonna oil half the pan and see like, do you need to oil them?
Yeah. Or they get crispier? Do they not break as easily? Do they brown up? Spoiler, they don't really brown up. But we shall see.
Yeah, I mean, if you fry these, they turn out really, really good, like in a deep fryer. But, new year, trying to not use the deep fryer every episode.
That's right.
We'll see how it goes.
A couple times a year, right? You gotta keep it a little healthy. And place your bets down below how many of these are going to explode in the oven. There's a couple pretty fatty ones on here that I have my doubts about. And one, I think I left the end open. So there's at least one that probably is going to leak out. Oil on 5 of these?
4.
4 and 4?
I might do 5 because I don't want to waste the oil. This one, maybe we'll just oil half of him. He'll be the real tester.
This is a crazy experiment now. We've lost all control of our variables.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and pop these into the oven at 375 degrees for about 8 minutes. Then we'll flip them and evaluate the situation and put them back in for an undetermined amount of time, but we'll let you know when we come back.
Somewhere between 8 and 12, typically.
Well, that was a bit of a learning experience.
That's an understatement. It looks like yours got shot through the face.
Yeah, so this, oil them, because they really like to stick to the pan if you don't. Also, we should have used our Silpat.
Yep. So putting parchment paper down on the pan also, because they tended to want to stick, even the ones that we oiled, the paper is just so sticky.
Yeah.
You just want to keep that from happening. Otherwise, they'll just tear when you peel them off the pan.
And in hindsight, 375 was a little hot.
A little hot. 350
So
is fine.
we've had them explode on us before. We finally tried to figure out why. It's those three things.
So how many exploded?
So of the ones that we did not oil, 3 out of 4 exploded.
Okay.
Out of the ones that we did oil, I think we had 1 out of 4 explode.
Okay.
So oil them, and then that's not too bad of odds.
Right.
I can blame it on his bad wrapping at that rate.
Right. And one, I think I left the end open.
All right, but are you ready to try them?
I am. This is the one that turned out the best. Man, look at this. Oh man, I think I wrapped this one. Look at that.
Oh, interesting. Okay, and this is the delicious sauce we were talking about.
So this is a sweet chili sauce. You'll find it definitely in any Asian mart, probably also in any ethnic food aisle. I think it's mostly sugar.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like 50% sugar, but it is very good.
So I think because we have the bigger wrappers, you definitely notice you have more outside than usual.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's very spring rolly, it's a lot of wrapper. But the filling is really good. I'm actually getting some of the seasoning we put in as well.
I think mine turned out actually really good. I think you're right. I think there's an extra layer of wrapper in here that I don't necessarily need to have. It just makes it a little tougher to tear.
Mm-hmm.
But the flavor in here is great. You can throw in stuff like ginger or other seasonings or garlic, definitely, and really amp it up. But again, we're just keeping it super easy with things we just had in the fridge.
Yeah, and I caution you against adding like too many liquids like soy sauce or Worcestershire, because if the filling is really wet inside, it can kind of be a mess. Like that.
What kind of mess?
So I try to keep my filling a little more on the dry side. Not to say that it's dry, but with using so many vegetables, you're going to have pretty high moisture anyways.
It's very wet.
These are really good. They are definitely like a staple of ours. We probably make spring rolls a couple times a month, really. And we put whatever we feel like into them. So give them a try on your next like weekly dinner and let us know if you like them. They're super easy. You can't really screw them up. And even if they explode, you just fork and knife it and it's no big deal.
It's never been a problem for us. And definitely before you bite into these babies, let them cool down for like 5 minutes at least. They come out like lava hot. So before you take one bite and say, I'm never making these again because you just burnt your mouth off, give it a second. The sauce does help with that, but let them cool completely.
Yeah, let them come to a complete cool.
So cool.
Thanks for tuning into this week's video. Go ahead and check out some of our recent favorites over here. Make sure you hit that notification bell next to the subscribe button, and while you're at it, hit the subscribe button as well. And leave a comment down below if you like to make spring rolls or egg rolls, or if you want to give this recipe a try. All right, bye!